Mr. Jonathan Gomez. He is an engineer engaged with the Crystal Group and has an MBA degree from Deakin University, Melbourne, and specialization in finance, giving him the edge over marketing. He has expertise in strategy development and business venture designs and implementations. His focus is irradiating pain points by bringing value to the customer, from extensive, intricate marketing plans to utilize traditional and digital marketing methods. He focuses on brand imagery, trend analysis, and lead generation. Mr. Jonathan will deliberate upon cold chain industry, current trends, and future. So, delegates, let's welcome Mr. Jonathan.
So actually, a lot of points have actually been brought up right now about the cold chain industry, and everyone here, I'm very sure, is much more aware of the cold chain industry than I have in my short span within this entire industry. But I'm going to try and see how best we can actually understand the cold chain, understand what is required, and be able to make changes that will actually impact every industry that the cold chain is targeting. So the best way to understand the current cold chain analysis is to know that anything that is temperature sensitive or environment sensitive actually needs to be within the cold chain industry. And actually being able to bring products and storing them and increasing its shelf life is one of the core reasons that the cold chain industry is seen so much of importance. If we actually go back in history, we will understand that all the way back in the Egyptian time, the cold chain and way of preserving food or produce or anything that they had was the most crucial part. And right now, what we are trying to do in the world is to ensure that we can curb or halt decomposition. Take meats, for example, bringing the core temperature down to a staggering minus 18 degrees Celsius actually kills all the bacteria, stops or halts the decomposition process, thereby allowing us to extend its shelf life, not the conventional where we actually use chemicals or anything to alter the composition of the produce. So this is the base of a cold chain. But cold chain is now moving apart from just extending shelf life. We are able to move products that were once not reachable to different parts of the world that were so-called exotic or seasonal. And this is where humankind and the technology and the amount of perseverance that they had to make sure that we are now a much more connected world. But there are challenges, obviously, within this entire market. There is a disconnected supply chain model. Now, understanding that the cold chain is actually an intricate part of the entire supply chain industry, we can understand there are different areas that have been impacted. And one of the biggest eye-openers that the world has seen was when COVID hit. And we understood that the world was not completely ready to be able to hit demand with the supply that was being made. And let's be honest, the entire supply chain industry and the cold chain industry, everything depends on the demand that is available. And the world is striving its best to actually supply the produce in time or products in time. So understanding the buying pattern of a person, understanding the buying pattern of an entire country and the requirement with proper analysis and proper data collection, we can actually figure out in time exactly how much is required at a particular place and from where it should be sourced. A much more connected world is what the cold chain will help eventually solve and eventually make. Right? So this is like a fun fact I thought I'll throw out there. You know, the bananas used to be a seasonal fruit. Anyone in any part of the world can go into any market, any grocery store and pick up a nice yellow ripe banana. But bananas used to be a seasonal fruit that was only available at certain parts. But with the cold chain industry and what we've developed, we can now move the exact banana and keep it on the shelf, basically farm to fork, in the exact same way that we picture in movies or in cartoons and such. And this is what the cold chain industry is all about. It's not just keeping things at a lower temperature, but actually being able to reach and move produce to the customer the exact way they want. And giving the customer the exact product that they want is the first step to actually controlling wastage. Now, the Indian cold chain market, there is a lot of growth in the healthcare, because the healthcare requires certification, requires proper maintenance, proper cleanliness to be able to make sure that there is no problems with the medicine or the vaccine or anything in that industry that might have adverse effects during human consumption. But we have seen that there's a growth now in the demand for vegetables and fruits, with people around the world actually focusing on health and wanting to have the best to give them the best life possible. We are seeing there is an entire demand for this. Indian market is well known to actually be the biggest producer in the dairy industry. We are third biggest producer when it comes to medicine production and such. India is now, and what the entire current present situation and the future outlook is, India is where everything is going to meet, with surplus amount of educated people, with surplus amount of manufacturing sites and more. India is now gaining to become the next hub for this entire industry. But if you go to look at how the entire industry is right now, most of the focus is within dairy industry, the pharma, and the fish and meat industry, like it was brought up earlier. But if you actually go to look, there's so much of products within the world. Like you take malt, for example, within the alcohol industry. Malt is a very sensitive produce. If coming across with something that has a strong smell or strong taste, it can actually ruin the entire lot of malt. That way, you look into the chemical industry or you look into the cement industry. The requirement for cold chain is now moving away from just fresh or frozen produce, but it has seen that a much more controlled temperature can actually impact or actually benefit different industries and different companies, thus reducing wastage. Now, I've been actually giving a lot of thought about wastage, and the world sees wastage as the loss of produce or food and such. But wastage comes in different forms. The wastage of resources, with the number of people that are involved in actually moving a product or storing a product, the amount of money that is actually put in to ensure that everything is safe, and the most important commodity that we all have, which is time, which once lost cannot be taken back. So the focus of cold chain should now slowly start moving towards controlling wastage. And with the adoption of current IoT practices and technology and understanding data, which is readily available, can actually reduce wastage on every front. All right. So to get a look of what the future would be, obviously the first thing that we're going to focus on should be sustainability, because we are utilizing the world. Everyone knows about the whole garbage island, which is out there, that is growing in size. And this is because of the current buying pattern of the world and how available certain products are and whether they can actually last long enough for complete consumption. So sustainability is key. And the best way to do that is to actually look at all areas by first ensuring that all the global warming potentials like refrigerants or any sort of energy that is utilized from fuel, and the way the business actually runs, all these needs to have a complete overall look where we look at alternatives. We are definitely seeing a lot of change within the solar industry and how that will actually impact and best give you much more efficient power to power your cold chain needs. But it doesn't stop there. We need to be able to have a standard that is actually worldwide accepted, so that when you train those who are involved, when they know exactly, which is worldwide recognized and properly tabulated, that's when you hit maximum efficiency. And the best way to do that is to give proper middle level, lower level, and advanced training and make sure that is readily available so that it does not change and is properly followed by every country across the world. Because we are looking at digital solutions to actually best help us within different industries. And it is without a doubt that this will bring up different policies. Now, there should be like a guideline that is followed by the entire industry across different industries that are connected through the cold chain and the supply chain, that will actually give the best possible way of ensuring that all data and all produce and every standard is followed so that we can actually reduce wastage. Now, when you look at all of that, these are the three areas that we believe that the market should actually incorporate, that will give them maximum opportunity. Without a doubt, it's Internet of Things and the AI technology that can be brought in. What blockchain is allowing for decentralized access and use of renewable sources. Now, the entire world has turned to see what the meta world is bringing. That is an alternate reality where a lot of companies are finding that they can best serve customers. But to understand and reach the meta world, we have to be able to bring in enough technology within our current cold chain methods. That is properly monitoring, controlling, making sure that we know exactly where our produce is. And if you incorporate blockchain, we'll be able to put any amount of information that is available worldwide and therefore cannot be hacked or changed. So the world is looking really great with more safety and with the entire focus on blockchain or technology. We can actually bring cold chain to impact every other industry in the world. I won't take too much of your time. This is the best that I can actually deliver, and it's been great. Thank you.